Okay. You guys, I will bring the gong after I do my little gratitude share. You know, we have this pre-meeting and then the meeting. It was brought to my attention that perhaps I'm not as proficient with the gong as would be expected.
You want me to kick it for you? That's right.
Well, actually, what I thought was we're gonna have a guest gonger. Right. So if you are interested in being the guest gonger today, we got somebody here. Awesome. Come stand with me. Come stand with me. Yes, we're gonna have a little bit of a gong show.
Gong it now.
Oh, the gong show? Wait, who doesn't know the
I'm
gong
right
show?
here.
Okay, extra hard. All right. All right. Well, thank you for the gonger. I'm very excited too. Okay. I'm gonna set you loose in a moment, and then we're all gonna rate 8, 9, or 10. Right?
No seven.
Okay. No 7. And she's doing it without any. There's no criteria. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just you're the first. Okay. So this is a special shout out. Thank you, Robbie, for helping me to archive boxes out of the storage room to free up space. You want above and beyond because you only came to work that day for that purpose. I really appreciate you, Brooke. And that's it. We've had some different things that have happened in the office, and I have to say, in addition to Robbie, a handful of you guys have helped us move things, figure things out space-wise. I really, really appreciate it. We're doing everything we can to kind of clear the hallways and make it just look super clean as we roll into summer here, and your guests are coming through and taking pictures and all that good stuff. So thank you all for watching our space with us and creating a place that we all love to be. All right, are we ready?
Ready?
Go. Wow. All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, that was good. All right. All right. 8, 9, or 10. As soon as I can hear, we'll talk about it. All right. Awesome, you guys. Well, welcome to the meeting. As you know, we always start with a mission moment. Last week, we took a deep dive into our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives because it's really, really important, right? Especially in the age of more technology and more tools that we have. Fundamentals are going to become pretty standard across the board. The one thing that differentiates so-called unicorn businesses, those businesses that stand out, that grow, that make a difference, is your mission, vision, and values, and how you show up for people. So these are really, really important to KW. I would challenge you guys as you're thinking about your business. Why are you in it? What are you doing for your clients? What differentiates you? And have that be part of the foundation of how you build your business, because that's going to be your differentiator moving forward. And think about your mission moments as well. So as we're doing that, I want to share our mission moment for this week. And we're going to talk a little bit about Juneteenth. It's a new-ish holiday in the national conscience, I'll say. We have a little bit of a background on it. And it was just made a national holiday not too long ago. But a lot of people say, okay, what is Juneteenth and why do we celebrate this? So here's a little bit about this. The Emancipation Proclamation was effective in 1863. It's what ended slavery. And back in the day, we didn't have the tools that we have that communicate really quickly. Can you imagine how long it took for a decision to be made in one place and for it to travel across the country, right? So we got to kind of get in that mindset. Nothing is instantaneous back in this time. Freedom finally came on June 19th, 1865. So think about that, 63 to 65. That's years. That's not just, you didn't return my phone call within 24 hours, right? You didn't get back to my text immediately. That's years for that message to go. And it came by way of troops. This was not something that was information that people were excited about in some areas. So think about everything we do when we deliver bad news or good news, right? The Army announced that more than 250,000 enslaved people in the state were free by executive decree. We all know our own political world that we're living in, right? Wherever we fall in that, it's a fraught world. Imagine this fraught world, right? That day, the executive decree came down and was enacted, became known as Juneteenth by the newly freed people in Texas. The second Independence Day for many Americans and many within our own ecosystem, you guys. These are our people, right? And we have to support and celebrate. More than 150 years after slavery officially ended in Texas, a bill was signed in 2021 that set aside Juneteenth. June 19th is a federal holiday. So you guys, we celebrate this. We need to know all of our history. This is really important to us. And we also share this because we're closed on this day, because there's some really cool things that happen across our ecosystem. I would encourage you to dive in, make friends, celebrate. It is a holiday, and it's one that's I'm really excited about, actually. And we are also closed Monday, June 19th, in celebration of this day. We also know business continues, whether you're taking a day off or not, whether we are here or not. You all have fobs. You can all get in. You can all do what you need to do. But take some time to reflect and celebrate. And that's our mission moment for the moment for today. All right. Oh. Something else I wanted to share, Kathleen Wooten, who is teaching Accelerator right now, so she's not part of our team meeting yet at this moment, but she's celebrating 5 years. Holy cow, 5 years. That's right. I wanted to share this also because it comes on the heels. We've had Michelle celebrated her 5 years this year. 6. Holy cow. No, Al's celebrated 5, which is great. I'm coming up on my 5 years. One of the things that we really like is that there's some consistency, and I know there has been some change here, but for a lot of real estate brokerages, change happens a lot, right? So to have people who celebrate 5 years means that we're able to provide the value to you guys that we really like. We like to elevate our value for you so that you can plug in anywhere and receive really good services. So I'm really excited about this 5 years. The other piece that I don't have a slide for, but I want to share, just this morning, we got news that Keller Williams was voted as the top workplace, which is huge. It is huge. It's huge for you guys to share that to your clients because it's quality across the board. It means the world to me, to my leadership teams, to the leaders in the other offices, because it's a completely blind poll. We don't know who's voting. We don't know how that works, but it's important to us that we serve you well, and we're getting some feedback, but some of that is good. So always welcome feedback, good or bad, because it helps us grow, but we were very excited about that acknowledgement, and we'll be posting it downstairs as soon as we do it. So, all right, with that, part of why we get named the best workplace is because we have the best tools. So I'm going to ask Lindsay, are you on?
I am on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all you.
All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. So I get a lot of questions around how to create and send out really effective newsletters. Is it effective to send these out? What sort of content to include? Well, this past February during Family Reunion, they released the playbooks, and one of the playbooks that they released was on how to create a newsletter. And so I want to dive into that a little bit today. So on the next slide, I've got some more information. So, just like a lot of the, other emails that you send out or engaging with people on social media, a newsletter is also an effective way to consistently stay in front of your audience, in front of your database, and provide them with valuable content. It's just another way to establish yourself as the go-to resource on all things real estate related. You're building trust with your sphere of influence, and these are the relationships that will lead to future business by way of new clients and referrals. And so they included some interesting statistics here. So according to NAR's 2022 member profile, on average, 42% of agents' business comes from the referrals and repeat business of loyal clients, people with whom they have consistently remained in touch with. The median residential realtor earned 19% of their business from repeat clients and 23% through referrals from past clients. So again, a newsletter is just another way to stay in front of your database because it's going to pay off. And the good news is that you can create a newsletter in Command. Now, the great thing about it is it's not a one size fits all. It's not, okay, I want to send a newsletter, go. You have to put a little bit of work behind it, but you're creating this custom newsletter that fits your brand, your business, your voice. And so you can choose from existing templates or create your own. You're able to track the open and click rate per email that you send out, and you can also schedule these. Now, I had a really great conversation with one of our agents in the North Shore office, Annie Jerzyk, last week. And up until about a few months ago, she was using MailChimp to send out her monthly newsletter. And MailChimp increased their prices. And so she decided, it wasn't really worth paying MailChimp a monthly fee in order to send her newsletter when she could be using Command. So she decided to switch over to Command, and she saw almost an 11% increase in the open rate. So her MailChimp open rate was around 32%. Her open rate with Command is at 43%. So again, 11% increase, which is a pretty drastic increase, which was super exciting for her. But on top of that, with Command, your first 5,000 emails per month are free. You can increase that for $9.99 per month to get up to 10,000 email sends per month. Whereas with MailChimp, only your first 1,000 emails are free, and then it goes up from that. And if you want to send 6,000 emails per month, you have to pay $20. And again, it just increases from there. So next slide, I've just got an example of what Annie's newsletter looks like. And so she provides a lot of valuable content, both about the real estate market, about some things going on in the communities that she serves. She's got always a recipe card that she designs in Canva and has a very similar look and feel. So she's got the same header and footer with every single newsletter. So she's really creating that consistency with the content that she's sending out. And then another really interesting thing is you'll see this article here, pre-listing home inspection. She actually created that article through AI technology. And so really great tools that she's utilizing to put this newsletter together every single month so that she's delivering really valuable content to her database. And if you're looking for some more content to include in a newsletter type of email, we also have the Camel Crew events coming up this summer. So the first one is this weekend at Dominican High School near the North Shore office. But then we've got one on July 29th at the Southwest office. So great opportunity to invite your database and inform them about this e-recycling event that Camel Crew is hosting. So you can take the images that were emailed out to you, input them into your newsletter. Otherwise, we do have smart plans that are available in the smart plan library. And so if you just search for Camel Crew, all three of them are going to appear. The email is completely done for you. You just add the smart plan to your own library and send it out to your contacts. So if you want to learn more about how to create a newsletter in Command, we're going through the entire newsletter playbook on June 15th. It's this Thursday on Zoom. So that's the topic for our marketing mastermind this Thursday at 11. I'm going to share some more insights that Annie shared with me as well as to the type of content that she includes in her newsletter, how she creates it and puts it together. So we'll be talking all about that on Thursday. And then June 22nd, we're going to be diving into some useful apps that you can use. So ChatGPT. There's another one that Annie used to create that article. So we're going to be talking about some of those different applications that you can use to, automate more of your social media, your email marketing, all of that. And then, sorry, I've got the dates wrong on here. And then the last Thursday in the month, we're going to do a Canva 101 training in person at the Innovation Office in Wauwatosa. So that's what we got coming up for our marketing mastermind training schedule. So please join us for any one of those. I think it's going to be really, really great content.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for diving into all of that for us. We do talk and continue to talk. I think one of the things that Annie does really well with her newsletters identifies the audience that she brings. So Annie does a lot of work with seniors and helping them transition into different locations. Because I look at that recipe card and I'm thinking, if your audience is between 20 and 30, don't waste space with the recipe card, right? The things that she does really well is the consistency, consistent header, consistent footer. This is what you're looking for every time. Know your audience, know what you want to put in there, and automate, automate, automate as much as you can get off your plate so that you have time for actually thinking about strategy and building relationships. Because in the next, well, this has always been a relationship business, but it's more so even now, knowing that the tools that we have can help us go this quickly. So thank you so much, Lindsay. We're moving on to compliance. You will note I am not Defender Dawn. We let her go on vacation. I kind of can't believe that.
Everyone text her and call her right now.
Right. And if she answers, we're gonna scold her because she's on vacation. Sarah Papp, also on vacation. I don't know how our compliance people decided they would all go at the same time, but we do have a crew that's here to support you. And I talked to Brooke, who made the slide for me, and I said, oh, make sure you put their cell phones numbers on here. And she said, oh, no, we're gonna put the compliance hotline number on here. So gentlemen, they don't have your cell phone numbers, but our compliance backup is sitting in the back today together. There you go. There you go. They are here to serve you and support you. Just reach out in the same way that you would to Defender Dawn, and you will get your answer and business will move ahead. So thank you guys for stepping in, and thank everybody here for writing great contracts and winning. I love that. So also today we're going to continue our series on passive income. And when we decided to kind of start this series, we thought we would hold investing aside and have maybe multiple conversations on it, because there are multiple ways to be an investor in this field. There's so many opportunities. But today I've invited two of our investor rock stars here. Abby's looking at her picture. Scott, come on up. You guys, please help me welcome Abby Wall. We are going to be spending a good chunk of time here diving into their success stories, their investing stories. And you guys have had a lot of experience different in the investing world. As you guys have questions, let's answer them. I want to use this time so you can kind of get an idea of how people can be successful and understand different mindsets around this. So Scott, I'm going to start with you. Does everybody know Scott?
No.
Hi, Scott.
Hi.
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, actually, Scott, would you introduce yourself, please?
I am Scott Kloss, and I am co-founder of Lifetime Realty Group. I wanted a Keller Williams when there wasn't one, so I helped start this office from 3 to 159. So it's been quite a wild ride, but I am enjoying my time as running the team and not having 3 full-time jobs. Yeah, in town.
As a realtor, tell me about your investing life.
So my investing life is, a lot of it was by default in a sense, because I was always so focused on clients and getting listings and working with buyers. And my first 3 flips all came as a byproduct of going on a listing appointment. So I never did any kind of marketing, or I never focused on it that much in the lead generation. But when I would go out, and I know I was coaching basketball, so I was really well connected to New Berlin, and one of the coaches had me out to sell his aunt's house. And when I was there, I was like, can I buy this? So it wasn't like I was out throwing tons of money out everywhere trying to find investment properties. I was really trying to hustle as a realtor. And then as a byproduct, we found deals from that side. Now, at going back, I would flip that, and I would think that as a realtor, our number one option should always be, can I buy it first? Like, don't ever think, how can I list this? Think, how can I buy it? If it's a good deal, or at least give them the option. Here's a price that we could buy it for. Here's a price that you could sell it for. As is, here's a price you could fix it up and sell it for. Because clients love options. So my first 3 deals were flips. I was really involved in the Milwaukee RIA, getting into real estate. So I would, at the time, there's a meeting tonight if anyone is interested, but they always have they have a Tuesday night meeting a month. It's just huge, probably hundreds of people. You can literally walk up to the front of the room and say, I'm looking to flip a home, I'm looking to this, or I have this home, I want to sell it. And then as you walk away, like people will come. It's just literally like people helping people. And so I would do the Tuesday night, there was always a breakfast, there's a lunch, and then there's the weekend tours where you could take a bus and you could see the flips that were going on, and you could see what they paid for it, and you could see the work that was going into it. And I just found that so helpful because it's scary to think of, hey, I gotta buy this house and then I gotta put in like 30, 40, 50, 60 grand, and then I gotta hope that it's gonna sell. So I encourage you, if investing is something that you're interested in, it probably took me like 18 months of just going to meetings and casually learning before I actually did anything myself. But you did.
Yeah, can I ask, so you're out being a realtor, you're doing your thing, you're talking to clients. What was it that said like, oh, maybe I should buy this? Where did that idea even come from?
Well, because if you sell it, you might make like 7 grand, but if you flip it, you might make like 40. And so the hardest part about investing is when it's on the market. If you have the inside to a place and no one else knows about it, now you run the numbers. I had a very strict formula, and at the time it was a lot easier to uphold that formula than it is now, because you make the money when you buy it, you don't make the money when you sell it. So you got to be very strict with the amount you pay for it.
So in terms of resources to help you feel confident going into this, you mentioned RIA. Can you talk, that's the real estate
Milwaukee Real Estate Investor.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and anyone can just go. You don't have to be a member.
You don't have to be a member. It might be a fee, like $8 to go. There's always food and beer. And then when I got in there, like this year, actually, there was a speed networking, and you had like 25 chairs this way and 25 chairs this way, and you just got to like meet 24 people in 50 minutes or an hour or something. I would encourage you, there's nothing more valuable than your network. Your network is the #1 asset that you own. And if you have a solid network of professionals, like, you're a very valuable person. You're the like Pied Piper. People come to you, you got the general contractor, you got the painter, you got all these people, you got value. That's your value as a realtor.
And that, I mean, that is true whether you are representing as a listing agent or you're flipping, right?
Yeah, and you got to know who are the people that you would send as like the high quality, this is a $100,000 kitchen remodel, and then your investor. Not that the investor vendors are bad, it's just different. Because if you use that top quality person on a flip, you'd lose money. So you've got to be like, there's got to be investor friendly, and then there's got to be retail friendly.
No, I see Gabby smiling a little bit. I'm sure we'll dive into that around that.
Yes, I have a flip going on right now.
Really?
Yeah.
So air quotes. Talk about that a little bit, Scott. Share that with us.
I might need some therapy. Is Mark here? Mark's here. So Mark and I bought a house together March 3rd, and it's off market. So part of my journey this year and at the end of last year, I wanted to go out to lunch and just sit down with people in this world, whether they're property managers, whether they're investors themselves, like whatever it was. I just wanted to go out, pick their brain, build my network, because my focus is finding someone that can be multiple deals a year. If it's a builder, if it's an investor, if it's someone that wants to merge into our team, I want multiple deals a year. So I got very purposeful, like 1 to 2 times a week, I would sit down, eat lunch, or have a meeting with investors. I moved into my house last year, and 2 doors down, there's a minivan, and it said, "We'll buy any home cash," on a minivan. And I just thought like, that was strange. Like, you don't see too many minivans that say that. So I was like, I got to meet these people. So I knocked on their door, and I was like, "Hey, I just moved in 2 doors down. Can we go to lunch? Like, I see your van. Like, it's very interesting to me. I just want to know who you are, what you're doing." Well, they own 414 Home Buyers. If you guys have heard of it, Aaron and Mike. And so went to Maddie's and they have a really good list of off-market properties. One of these off-market properties we bought. When you do that, it's a little different because they'll say like, hey, this deal is available tomorrow from 1 to 3. And you just got to go there from 1 to 3. And there might be 20 other people there. Literally the strongest one wins. So you got to, no, that's not how it works. The one that offers the most amount of money wins. And so it was really about finding those deals. I'm on like 6 off-market lists and then finding great cash. Because there's another story I can tell there, but so have someone that can do a hard money, found a deal. Now, the reason why it was in air quotes is because it was a divorce situation. That's Mr. had full control over all signing because the ex-wife was not mentally sound, wasn't showing up to anything, she wasn't doing anything. The court awarded him full custody on the house and every decision. So he sold the house, but doesn't think that it was sold. So March 3rd, we bought it and she wasn't leaving. So the rules are such that are very favorable towards tenants, which she isn't, she owned it. I don't even know what she is. So now we had to go through the full 28-day process to evict her, but it's not really 28 days, it's the next month. So if it's April 13th, it's May and end of May, so it's really 45 days. And then May 23rd, we had a court date. She showed up, and because she showed up, now it got delayed another month. So June 20 something, we have to go to court to prove that we own it. So I haven't been in the house yet.
So as I'm listening to you talk through this, right, I think that when we talk about investing, and certainly since Rick said this, sometimes all we hear are the success stories, right? And all we hear are the easy turns, and this is it. And one of the things I want to call out, we talk a lot about how your business grows to the extent that you do. So you're building relationships, you're building knowledge in terms of, you had mentioned making sure the cash flows. So that's a profit picture. That's understanding your business numbers enough such that you can evaluate risk in that process and you're not going to get yourself underwater and what could all potentially go wrong. It's learning from failing forward, right? Would you do anything differently from this situation? Or is this just part of the game and you figure it out, right? So there's so many things here that I think come from positive and challenging experiences that as you are listening, you know, flipping is definitely a way to invest and make 40,000 rather than 8, right? It happens. It's not all the time, right? Because as she's sitting in that house, you can imagine their profit, they're watching their profit drop a bit, I'm guessing, right? So
Time is money.
time is money, right? Okay. What one piece of advice would you have for people who are dabbling or investor curious? Flip curious.
Well, I mean, yeah, flipping is great, but it also it doesn't have a lot of tax benefits. So flipping is just a good way of quick money. Actually, long term, I would say my one piece of advice is to stop thinking about commissions and start thinking about net worth and capital. And every decision you make is, how is this going to grow my net worth and how is this going to increase my cash flow? Because commissions are like a hit, you know, like you need more. And flips are very similar. It's just a bigger hit. So if you can do something that's continually building your net worth, track it monthly, track your cash flow monthly, know what you're spending your money on personally and professionally.
For sure. Love it.
T money.
For those that are also maybe not familiar with the different streams of income you've been able to successfully create, can you just real quick run down, because you own commercial buildings, you own residential buildings, you generate income from a real estate team, from personal production, correct? Like this is just one of many.
Yes.
How many diversified streams of income have you been able to create since you got involved in real estate?
Since I got involved with Keller Williams.
Since you got involved with Keller Williams.
Because I went 6 years with just personal production, and that's what almost put me in the hospital, and that's why I needed a Keller Williams. This building we had the luxury of buying, Jeremy and I, in 2018 because we outgrew our old office. So there's nothing worse than there's a lot of things worse, but it's not fun to rent when you run a business. And you're just seeing that money go away. And we outgrew that thankfully, and this building was on the market and we got to put it together. So this is the second busiest corner in Waukesha County, fun fact. So, and we own, or we occupy over 50% because our Williams has this, our office is separate, and then Focus Title is there. So it's like, but we still have, I think, 6 other tenants. We need 2 more right now, if anyone knows anyone. So the building is really nice because I consider this building as like a retirement. I'm not like funding anything right now. We're just keep it all in this separate account for a big payoff at one point. Each office has a group of investors. So as I was running them, obviously I had a small salary, and then I had quite a few shares of each office. I still own quite a few shares in each office. I just don't have to put in like the full job. So I have money coming in from this market center, from Germantown, our real estate team. I'm back into production now in the sales, in the listing world. And then Focus Title, there's ownership in there from starting everything up, because that got started after COVID. And profit share is usually around 500-ish or more a month.
Yeah, so lots of different, this is what we're talking about, right? In a market that is that is stressed right now, right? It's a little bit of a challenge. When you can diversify your income stream, you just have more options, and it takes time and learning, but that can go pretty quickly, right? So if this is something you're interested in, put a time frame around your thinking. We can get analysis paralysis, right? And we need to move to learn and you've got great resources here. The minute I went to Scott and I said, hey, would you share your story? I don't think my sentence was out before he said, heck yeah. So you've got people here who want to support your journey, and we're all on different journeys. Thank you for sharing, and questions. We'll keep this guy around for questions. But I want to also talk to Abby, because you have a little bit of a different journey. So for those of you who haven't met Abby Wall yet, I met Abby 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Yeah, we were taking a trip together, one of the Keller Williams conferences, and we got to talking, and she is perhaps she was definitely the nicest person on that plane. She's and then I came back and I was talking to Charlie, I'm like, hey, I met Abby Wall, and he's like, yeah, she's our #1 producer in the North Shore, which is, I mean, you have to have pretty high volume to make that claim to fame. You haven't been there for too long. No, I looked it up because I was like, wait a minute, because you never would have gotten that vibe from talking to her, except that she's incredibly effective and compassionate and knows exactly how to build relationships. So got to know a little bit of her story. I'd love for you to share that with us.
So I got into investing before I got into real estate sales. And that started because my husband and I were actually living abroad. We were living in Europe and in Poland specifically at the time. And my husband has always been kind of a personal finance nerd, and he read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is an awesome read. It was a really sport mindset shift. It's not as practical, but like mindset wise, it's an awesome read. And he read that, and we were about to have our second kiddo, and he was like, maybe we should buy an investment property. And that sounds fun. But we didn't want to do it there. So we just started researching online how to do that. We were just looking for another stream of income. My husband was playing professional basketball at the time overseas, and like your income is only as good as your club, is only as good as that contract. And so by that point in his career, we were in a more steady place, but steady is over there. So we were just looking for another place to put our money and another stream of income. And so started researching, came across a resource called Bigger Pockets, which is a great, they have a lot now. They have books, they have forums, they have podcasts. We got on the podcast train pretty quick and started just consuming a ton of content, information, and then within 6 months, we actually got And my husband had never been to Milwaukee. Neither of us are from here. But my grandparents live in Ozaukee County, and we had just recently at the time lost several grandparents while we were abroad. So we're like, let's go back for the summer and spend our summer near my grandparents. And we were about to have our second baby, so we're like, oh, it'd be nice to have our own space versus bopping around just days in the summer, living with family. So we bought a duplex in the Bayview neighborhood of Milwaukee, which we just again found through the internet and chose it because of Humboldt Park. And bought a duplex, sight unseen. This was in 2018. And then moved in with that summer with our 2 kiddos and lived in each unit, fixed it up, renovated each one, mostly DIY. We knew nothing about renovating houses. We bought this book at Home Depot that was like how to do everything. And we just were reading through it at night and using what my husband calls YouTube University. A lot of our work happened after our kids went to bed at like 7. They were we had a newborn and we had a 2-year-old. And so a lot of it was between the hours of like 7 p.m. and 3 a.m. We were doing a lot of work on the house. And then we moved back over. He got another contract, we moved back overseas. And we put up both units on Airbnb into it. My husband's ankle was deteriorating pretty quickly. Right before we bought our duplex, he had a surgery to try to give him a few more years, but then he had another season in the Netherlands, and we finished up and so we moved back to Milwaukee, and a lot of our family around the country was why we did that, but we had fallen in love with Milwaukee that summer, and even though we didn't sleep much while we were here, it was still really, we just fell in love with the city. Moved back at the end of 2019, and I was previously, my past life, I was in tech sales, so that's where I was interviewing, and Milwaukee doesn't have very many tech companies. And so I had a final interview at one, which brought us back here initially, and then decided if, hey, if we're gonna do this really best, self-employed, and so
No
then
safety
I
net.
became, no safety. Families thought we were crazy for moving to Milwaukee and crazy for both being self-employed. And then when the pandemic hit a few months later, we thought we were crazy too. So yeah, so that's how we got started. At the end of 2019, we bought our second duplex. So when you live in a duplex, you rent out one unit, live in one unit. It's called a house hack, is a term coined by the Bigger Pockets world, and so a lot of people use that now. So we bought another house hack, moved 2 blocks from our first one, kept doing Airbnb for a time, but now our portfolio looks a little bit different, that we don't have any Airbnbs active right now. We've transitioned to long-term rentals. So we have 12 properties, 21 units that we rent out. And we've chosen to focus on Bayview because that's where we live, and then also
Okay.
You'll be happy you did that
Yeah.
in like 10 years.
they're all, or,
Yeah.
yeah, we did it mostly too out of necessity, just for efficiency. Like, we take on pretty massive renovations now, and we don't DIY much anymore. Because of the scale, we hire most of it out. So my husband does that full time. He manages projects and properties themselves. And so normally we're renovating a duplex. So it's more about efficiency. Like, we didn't want to spend time in between properties.
So as I hear you talk, and I know a little bit, your strategy has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, so initially when we got into it, we were doing it more for the financial independence aspect of it, I think was a big driver for us learning more about it and just realizing like, oh, okay, we could have rents coming in and this is passive income. We've realized that really nothing is passive if you really want to do it well. And so it's maybe more passive than other things we do, but it still takes time and effort. And so initially, like, we had some pretty lofty goals. We also didn't know anything when we started this with real estate and didn't know anything about old houses. And so I would say like how we do it, why we do it now has evolved quite a bit. Like, as the more investment properties I've been in, the more opinions I have of how you can be a great investor and how you cannot be a great investor. And I think there's a lot Milwaukee. I do a ton in Milwaukee proper, and I think Milwaukee has slumlords that don't slumlords because they're just out of state and they've never even been here or been in their properties. And so a lot of the stuff we buy now is really just to help people out, or to a really junky property and make it really suitable for people. So we've bought places. I mean, there's the places we bought. We've never done a ton of marketing either. A lot of it is word of mouth, or like I'll meet with the seller. Like Scott was saying, you give people options. People love options. So the house we bought a couple months ago was one of those situations where she just desperately needed something with me before her mom's house was done. And I took it to my husband and I said, hey, can we help someone else in another one? And I was able to convince him. It's a single family. We typically don't buy singles. So being able to do that is awesome too. And then also being able to take something that's not livable currently. Like we bought some that are just disasters, and to improve, like the neighbors will all come and meet us and say, thank you. Like, this is amazing. This house years. Thank you. Beautiful. And then that's just, we're addicted to that. So we're at a point now where we're like, we don't feel the need to buy more just to buy more. Like we feel like we just wanted to buy with this and everything with this. And like for us, we're still pretty bullish on where Milwaukee's headed value-wise. So we feel like long-term great investment, even if the cash flow numbers maybe don't look great in the short term. If it's breaking even and paying for itself, then we'll still typically buy it. Or if it's a really fun project, or if something else out, then we'll still. So it just depends on the situation, but I think too, we also didn't anticipate how much I would love being an agent. And so initially it was like, oh, I'll be the agent for a few years, we'll get the property thing going, and then I can step out, and now I'm going to stay an agent for 30 years. I mean, we'll see eventually. I just
Awesome. And one of the things I love about having these two stories is that you see underlying purpose. You see success in different ways, flipping and investing that you do in terms of owning doors and whatnot. Strategies evolve. You fail forward, you learn, it evolves. The other thing that I think I see about you guys is that you're both very, very involved in financial literacy. You teach and train what the numbers mean. And I just want to highlight that, because this isn't something that you just get into because you've got a big heart, right? Your big heart makes a difference for sure and can drive you, but you can have a big heart and go broke just as fast as you can have a big heart and make money. And the more money you have, the more opportunity you have to serve more people. So with that said, what kind of questions do we have here? Yeah.
I was just wondering if it's a better financial idea to do a long-term rental or Airbnb.
Well, so personally, in our experience, so Airbnb is there's a couple of different ways to consider the situation. So Airbnb is taxed, that entry is taxed differently than long-term rentals. So Airbnb is also finance nerd, it's a Schedule C, so it's self-employment income, so you're taxed with additional percent. Versus long-term rental Schedule E, so you don't pay that 15%. So you want your returns to get right there. It also just takes more time to manage an Airbnb, but I think depending on where it is and what the owners are, like for us, it was amazing because there were like we started with our Airbnb when we really didn't have much money to put into that first house, so it helped like we put everything we had and then we still needed more. So Airbnb gave us a greater return in that short-term period than we would have had with the long-term rental. Whereas now, like, we will trade. And so Airbnb just took a lot of time to do that. So we let go of that. But I think, so it kind of depends on your short-term goals and long-term goals. There's also more upfront costs. It depends on where you're looking, like how saturated that market is. There's a website called AirDNA that has a lot of really good info about the Airbnb market and specific locations you can look into. So for us, it served a purpose for a time.
And this, you guys, as you're asking questions, I think the best answer is it depends, and you have to ask that next level of really good questions, right? Like why and how, and what are all of the different pros and cons, right? So I just want to highlight these resources. There's other ways to do investing, and we'll dive into that in another month or two, just to highlight different stories and successes that people have had. You guys can stick around a tiny bit after the meeting if anyone has any questions. Anything what's one thing you want to leave us with?
I would say there's a KW Wealth division now, and one slide that was really just mind shifting was, I don't know the exact, but I'll find it, I can send it, but it was basically like the level of questions that you would ask yourself as you did a listing. So it was like, the first is like, can I get seller financing? Second is like, can I buy it? The third is, can I, like, it was like, and then the last one is, can I list it? Instead of thinking like, hey, I'll list this. It's like, there was like 6 other questions you could ask yourself before you actually list it. Like, that's actually your last option. I thought that was very compelling. And then like the tax advantages of long-term stuff, like from this building, if you really look into it, the government wants us to invest. They don't want us to just invest in real estate. There's 6 key areas. I actually have some health in my portfolio, health company. I have a tech company as well. And just when we bought this, they took all the depreciation over 2 years. In real estate, you got to pay your tax quarterly. If you don't know that, I'm sorry. And then
If you don't know that, we'll talk.
And then the good part about real estate usually is like every year my income will go up. So they estimated on your prior year. And then come April, you got to pay first quarter plus all the taxes you didn't pay the prior year. April was just like gut punches. When we bought this building, I didn't pay my third or fourth quarter taxes, one of the two. And I was really far behind, and I was really scared of the tax bill we were going to have. And my accountant said, you owe us nothing and you overpaid, so you don't have to pay the first quarter or second quarter. And it's like very little in the third quarter. And I was like, okay, like, thank you. And the next year came and I was like, we're really screwed this year. We paid like nothing last year. And the accountant said, you overpaid. You don't have to pay first quarter, second quarter. And I was like, I literally thought I was going to go to jail, but I was like, hey man, like, if you say so, I love it. I don't know how it works, but I like fell into the strategy of like cost segregation and depreciation. And I mean, it's really addicting.
Yeah.
To not
In a
pay
good way.
taxes.
In a good way. What's one thing you wanna leave us with?
The tax benefits of buying homes and leasing. As a realtor, when you are paying a lot of your income in taxes, like you're a real estate professional, so you get extra. Like if you have a client who's interested in investing, but they have a W-2 job, their tax benefits, they'll still have some, but not as much as you as a real estate professional. So if you're thinking about it, talk to your accountant, that's a huge benefit. I will break even on a rental or a but I think also like with investing, like there's so many different ways to do it, and there's no real right or wrong way, but like kind of choose a way. Like you're gonna feel like the first well, there's still days like this too, but like with investing, we're doing anything that's new and challenging and requires risk. Like you kind of have to choose your why, find your why. The big one is figuring out like why you're doing it, because there are days like that you question everything, or you feel like you're overpaid, but like long term, like we all are saying this to our clients too, right? Like real estate's just gonna keep appreciating, so long term Wise is awesome. And last thing I'll say is that I also feel like it's made me a much better agent. And it's cool too, because to be able to tell my clients like, hey, we also are buying, we just bought something a couple months ago, like versus them being like, is it gonna pop? I'm like, "Yeah, we bought something." And so to be able to show them like you are putting your money where your mouth is too, like is and you get a really great database of contract. End up and we need more.
All right, well, thank you guys for sharing. My gosh, why did I just spend 20 minutes listening to something that I may never get a part of? I want you to remember that you're here. We're not here to tell you what to do, but we are here to challenge how you think, right? So I want you to listen for similarities in terms of what your goals are. Maybe you're not about investing yet, but you're thinking multiple streams of income. Maybe you're not thinking multiple streams of income, but maybe you're thinking multiple lead sources, right? Where are the commonalities and how can you apply them to your business in such a way that you win? So thank you guys. I really appreciate you sharing your story. We'll do more stories in the days to come. And there's always more opportunities to learn new ways to think and grow your business. We always put out the training calendar. This is the June calendar. We'll dive into some specifics for you. The first thing I want to share is that we do have a productivity program here. It's at 9 o'clock on Thursdays. Aletha Champagne is our productivity coach. We're super excited about it. This is an opportunity that she's wanted for years. She's grown up in the KW system, started as a brand new agent, and now works with people as they develop their business. She's a rainmaker, highly successful in our world. We're super excited for her. So if you're within your first 5 transactions, come on Wednesday. You'll learn some of the very basics of how to run a business. If you're beyond your first 5, but you're still not, maybe your first 5 were all buyers. You've never done a listing. Great. You are welcome to her class. Last week they did, they went to go do a walkthrough at a vacant house to see kind of what are you looking at and how do you show it. This Thursday, she's going to dive into buyer consult and setting expectations with your buyers. So join us 9 o'clock on Wednesday. And then again on Wednesday, this is Profit Mastermind with the gentleman who was right up here before. When I say Scott is all about numbers, when people see this slide, they often think it's profit share. It's not profit share. It's your budget model, you guys. It's how to use the money that you have to make more money and keep more of it in your pocket and to make it work for you. Did I get that right?
For sure. The MREA too has a budget model, and it tells you like how much you should spend in each category. And if you're not tracking that, like you're leaving a lot of business on the table because it's not about just saving money.
Yeah, absolutely. So join this Zoom tomorrow, 1 to 2, learn how to make your money work for you, right? Also tomorrow, 3 o'clock, 3 to 5, Pizza Pops, you guys, come for Pizza Pops. Oh, I'm hoping it's nice and warm and all the kids love it and all that good stuff. I was asked, can I invite my database to this? Yes, the answer is yes. Anything that's on our calendar, you guys, feel free to share. So, and if we run out, we'll plan day 2, right? So let's do
My
it.
son ate 4 of them at the Germantown opening, so.
Okay. Okay, you can come at 5. Okay. And then something else I wanted to share, we have a whole bunch of people in our ecosystem that are trying to get into this full time, but they are what we call dual career. They have an 8 to 5, or they have some other source of income that they need to physically be at during the day. At our Lake Country office, Stacy Buzianek is going to be presenting what another kind of coaching productivity opportunity. It's called Make Money Now. It's all about lead gen. It's from 5:30 to 7 at our Lake Country office. Stacy's also a Tom Ferry certified coach, so she knows what she's talking about, knows how to facilitate conversations. So that's that. And then on the 15th, 1 o'clock, Rachel Lee is back with us. This is her 3rd session. She's done 2 on social media. This one is on referrals. As soon as this one is complete, we're going to be sending out the whole series. So if you haven't been able to join all of them or you can't make this one, don't worry. We'll have the replay for you. Good. Okay, so let's think back all the way to the beginning of the meeting. We talked about Juneteenth and we're not closed next Monday. That means no team meeting on Tuesday. However, we have booked Tony Robbins to come in via Zoom to our market centers to share all about mindset. And who knows Tony Robbins? Who knows about Tony Robbins? Who's been to a Tony Robbins seminar? Who has walked on fire, literally? Seriously, I'm the only one? Come on, I'm the only one. Okay.
Daughter did.
God, it's very cool. Like literally walked on fire, you guys. Seriously, not kidding. But all about mindset. Your mindset can do amazing things for you. And for me, it helped me walk on fire. So there's nothing I can't do. There's nothing you can't do either. Come join us for the watch party. Change your life. Rummage for a reason. We talked about this last week. So I just wanted to share again, Taylor is running this for us, the rummage sale, to assist the fund for those who were impacted by the parade 2 years ago, a year ago-ish. We are collecting donations, and this afternoon, along with our slides, we're going to send out kind of a pricing guide so that you have an idea of what you want to price at. Please bring things that are priced. You can store them in Allison Bradley's old office or the open office across the way. We'll get you all staged so that it's easy move out next Saturday. And then Ignite, it's coming in July 10th is the first one. It's going to be right up here, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you want to register for all of them, I think of it as a mini Bold, and we all know what Bold can do for your business. This can also set you apart and help you grow. Mondays, 10 to noon, be here. If you want to just drop into one or two, you can also do that. But I strongly encourage you to look at the schedule when that comes out and be a part of it. Last thing, 2 minutes. We're doing the e-recycle drive with Camo Crew. Our date is on July 29th. Definitely invite your spheres to this, you guys. Events can be free, and this is a great way to engage them. They will be right here, all of your old electronics, which I have like the computer, I call it computer lovingly, that I wrote my papers on in college. Time for it to go. And I'm going to be bringing stuff here. So reach out to your people. And then Mega Camp, it is not too early to start planning August 15th and 16th. So register. I know a handful of you are already registered. We'll get a nice group together. It's going to be super fun. So, yeah.
As far as events go?
Yeah.
By the way, your homegrown campers are having an event on Thursday. It's a movie. It is the original Back to the Future. If you stay for the double feature, Adventures in Babysitting. So if you would like to come, we're like, just over the hump of 100 cars. We paid for 150. So if we could get some more people, we would love to have you. And then check out what we can do as a group.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
the cool stuff that
When is that?
Homegrown Capper has put together. It is.
Oh, that's how you do it. There you go. There's your invitation.
Flip it over. There is a QR code, register. I believe you're registered. So go ahead and get in there. Get anybody else in?
Oh, just hand them out, Catherine. Yeah, I'll get one of those. Free movie at a drive-in. I've watched on fire, but I've never drive-in. Okay, and while she's passing that out, I just want to remind everybody about our new process for the listings. So you're going to get a reminder on Friday to add your upcoming listings that aren't live yet. Charlie reviews them all to make sure that nobody's going to get in trouble with information that they put out. A second reminder will come out, and then we'll get the information today. So that's happening. That's what I know. And that's the last slide, which means I must be done. So, all right. Well, you guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for your attention. I'm really thinking.
Yeah.